大家好，这是石老师. Today we're going to learn how to talk about birds. But after that, we'll learn how to say things like again or another, as well as talk about the rain, and finally, how to express agreement with somebody or disagreement. Our first character for today is the character for birds, pronounced meow, meow, dipping tone, meow. Good. Now, on first glance, it looks a lot like ma, meaning horse. But first note that on top you have the feathers and plumage of a bird. Second, the right upper side of the character has a hook on its bottom end, which a ma does not. Now, moving on from this, if we add a yo to our meow, you arrive at the character for chicken, pronounced ji, 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 chicken. And moving on from that, if we take the yo away and add what looks like a tian, except for a shu is shooting down the bottom, we get the character for duck. Now, we're not going to go any further into the meaning of that radical because it's not really used commonly in most other characters, and by itself, it's really only used in classical Chinese. But duck, this character is pronounced ya, 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 duck. Now, our next set of characters all have this top bottom opened box. The first character here is pronounced tong, which is that box with an e and a ko inside. Tong, tong, and it means similar or alike. In essence, the same. Tong. Now, our next character means rain, and it kind of looks like you have the roof of the sky and then little bits of rain dropping towards the ground. This is pronounced yu. Note it's much like fish or jade, but with a dipping tone. Yu, yu, yu. Our next character is another character that means two. It's more like a pair or a couple, though, and you'll note how to use it in our sentences. It's pronounced liang, 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 again with a dipping tone. Liang, liang. And our last character in this set is the character for again or another, pronounced zai, zai, zai. Now note that first we actually already have another character that means again, and that's yo. And also this zai is pronounced exactly like at, or to be located at. Now the last three characters that we have here at the bottom are first dan, 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 meaning egg. Next we have rou, 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 meaning meat. And our last character for today is nung, 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 meaning able to, or can, or may. And it's similar to things like 可以 and 会, which we've already used, but slightly different. That's all for our characters. Our first word today will be the word for egg, specifically a chicken's egg. 鸡蛋, 鸡蛋. Now note literally, chicken, egg. In fact, you can put dan onto the end of any animal that has an egg, and it will refer to the egg form of that animal, or just that animal's egg, I guess. 鸡蛋. Next we have 鸡肉, 鸡肉. This means literally the chicken's meat, or the meat of the chicken. Now for something like chicken, this isn't a hard stretch because we use the same word for the food and the animal itself in English. But think for something like cow. We say cow and beef. In Chinese, you simply need to add rou to the end of your animal, and you have that animal's meat. 牛肉 is beef. Next, we have three words that use 同. The first one, 同事. 同事. So it's somebody who has the same affairs as you or the same matters. That makes the word for coworker. 同事. Now following into our next character, 同学, 同学, the same logic is applied. Somebody who has the same studies as you is your classmate. 同学, and this is also a form of address we will use for our classmates, as well as a form of address I will use to refer to you. The last one we have with 同 is 同意. 同意. This makes the word for to agree or to consent to. 同意. So literally, same meaning or same idea. 同意. Next, we have a phrase that you are all probably pretty familiar with by now. 再见. 再见. The word for goodbye is literally see again or to see you again. Next, we have 下雨. 下雨, which literally means falling rain. In other words, the action of the rain falling, or it is raining. We will say 下雨. Now, the last two use 能. Our first is 可能. 可能. And this simply means possible. 可能. Possible or probable. We'll use this with anything that relates to the probability of an occurrence. And last, we have 能力. 能力, meaning ability. 能, able, and 力, power. 能力, ability. That's all for our words. The three main grammar points we will have for today are again or another using 在, to express consent or agreement using 同意, and lastly, talking about possibility using 可能. So first, again. 在 is used much like yo. In fact, it's put in the exact same place yo would be if it were in a sentence, that is, before a verb. However, 在 cannot be used to express again in the past, like yo can. Second, 在 often is used to express the concept of wanting another or something, or wanting to do something again. Let's look at an example. 我要再吃2个鸡蛋. 我要再吃2个鸡蛋. I want again to eat 2 eggs. Now note real quick, 2个. You will notice in none of our examples up to this point I have ever said 2个, and that's because we do not use are in this way. When we want to say two or a pair of something, especially when counting quantity, we will always use 2. We'll see more of this in future classes. Now back to our example. 我要再吃2个鸡蛋. So what this is literally saying, I want again eat 2 eggs. But how this would best be translated is I would like another 2 eggs. And if you think about it, another and again, for all intents and purposes, in this case, are the exact same thing. I would like another 2 eggs, or again, I would like to eat 2 eggs. Another example. 我要再说2句话. 我要再说2句话. I would like to say another 2 words or another 2 sentences. I would like to speak again. I would like to speak another 2 words. 我要再说2句话. So you'll note here, this is used essentially the same as yo. But again, it can be used for now or in the future, distant or present. But it cannot be used in the past, ever. Our next grammar point for today is 同意. And again, this will be used to express consent or agreement with something. And it has a few different ways it's used. First, 我同意他. Very simply, I agree with him. 我同意他. Now, if I want to say I agree with something about him, something he said, etc., we can just add that on. 我同意他的想法. 我同意他的想法. I agree with his idea, or I agree with his thinking process. I agree with how he thinks. 我同意他的想法. But we can also agree with things that are not directly related to a person. For instance, a circumstance. 我没有同意跟他一起工作。我没有同意跟他一起工作。I did not agree to work with him. I did not agree to work with him. So note two things here. First, we're agreeing or not agreeing with something that is not exactly a person or a thought, but just a situation. I did not agree to these circumstances. Second, you can agree negatively, that is to say, not agree. And we'll say 没有同意. I did not agree with this. 我没有同意他的想法。Oh, 跟他一起工作。Last, we have 可能。可能。可能 simply means possible. It can be used as it is possible for this to happen. You can also use it qualified, as in it is very possible. It is not so possible. You can also think of this as likely or unlikely, essentially the same thing. So for instance, if you wanted to say it's likely to rain today, 今天可能下雨, or 今天可能要下雨. So today it may rain. Here you're simply expressing a baseline possibility. You're not saying it's very likely, you're not saying it's unlikely, you're just saying maybe. 今天可能要下雨. But you can also use 可能 to express a high probability or a high chance of something happening. For instance, 他很可能认识我的哥哥。他很可能认识我的哥哥。She very likely or has a high probability of knowing my brother. 他很可能认识我的哥哥。So just like with things like 喜欢 or 想, we can add 很 or 非常 or other qualifiers to the beginning of 可能 to express the degree of likelihood or the degree of possibility. In this case, fairly likely. She is fairly likely to know my brother. I hope this has cleared up a bit about how we express possibility, as well as another way to talk about again, as well as another, if you want another of something. And lastly, how to express consent or agreement. That might be the most important. 大家, please review the video again, watch through the characters, vocabulary, write some sentences for the vocab, and make sure that you understand the sentences and grammar here. If you don't, please take notes and bring those up in class. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. And I'll see you in class. 大家加油!